So we are more than halfway into the first term of President Muhammad Buhari, and there is a general call by APC members and Nigerians generally for him to come out and recontest for another term. What is your take on it?
Well, first and foremost, when you ask for General Muhammadu Buhari to contest the election, I used to look at the track record or what Muhammadu Buhari has done during the period. You don't just ask a president to contest unless you look at the achievements of the president. When General Muhammadu Buhari was actually seeking for election in 2015, he had in the business world what we call the KPIs, the key performance indicators. What did he want to achieve? So first he mentioned issue of security in Nigeria. Today, let us look at the record of the security. We have seen the issues with Boko Haram. We have seen an almost eradication of Boko Haram, even though there are still some spots of attacks by Boko Haram here and there. But we have seen that this government has weakened Boko Haram tremendously. We have also looked on the other issue that the president also has indicated. He has indicated an era of corruption in Nigeria. This is an area of a lot of people competing, and then there are a lot of contradictions and there is a lot of debate when it comes to his achievement, when it comes to corruption. But let us look at him as a person. What Nigeria has seen is nearly every president of Nigeria that has ruled this country has been accused of corruption one way or the other. General Muhammad Buhari has come clean. So far, whether you like him or not, you cannot accuse him of being involved in any sense of corruption. This has gone a very long way for him, and it's a very good credit for him. For some of us, because I am the group managing director of Dangote Sugar Refinery, and as a group managing director, we have the interest to be able to produce sugar locally in Nigeria. And we have gone around this country trying to acquire land. And we do not have the technology. So we have to go acquiring equipment from India, from the UK, from Germany, from Brazil, from Uruguay, and from all these places, from the US. There are boilers, for instance, coming from the US. Every one of these places that you go to today, you will realize that people say, in your country, corruption has reduced significantly, and people are interested in coming back to do that. Now, I don't know how much, in fact, his body language alone, scares corrupt people. Corruption was actually being investigated, being instigated, and still is, by a lot of foreigners, and people don't know that in Nigeria. But foreigners are afraid today to come in, and try to see how they can bribe people in Nigeria and get their ways. I spent most of my life in the oil and gas sector in the US. As a result of that, I still go to the US a lot. And every time you go into the oil and gas sector, you again hear a lot of things going on about corruption. People are afraid of coming to corrupt Nigerians. So this has gone a very, very long way for us. Yes, people talk about how many people have been convicted. It is not General Muhammadu Buhari who will convict people. It is the courts that will convict people. So it is only left for the government to identify areas and then pursue. Is there still elements of corruption in Nigeria? Of course, yes. There will be people, because it's something that cannot be eradicated. But has this government achieved something? Yes, it has achieved. On the area that the government did not even promise, on the economy, if you look at what has happened in this economy, look at the capital market today. The capital market has actually lost its credibility completely in Nigeria. Today, that credibility has been gained. Let me take the company I run, Dangote Sugar Refinery. Our share price came down as low as less than 6 naira. As at yesterday, our share price is now over 18 naira. So it has gone 3 times that. So the capital market has gone back to its glory days. A lot of things happening also in the capital market. A lot of companies are making profits. A lot of foreigners are having interest. So if you look at the totality of this, look at the FX, what has happened. About 1 year, two years ago, we were actually looking for dollar to buy. For us as Dangote, even dollars to buy that will build our oil refinery, which perhaps will be the biggest oil refinery in the world. We are spending over $12 billion to build that refinery. Sometimes you will be looking for $1 million you will not find. And a lot of this equipment had to be imported. Today, we are even saying that we will be able to complete one segment of the refinery next year. Why? Because even at the 500 naira that we couldn't get $1 about 1.5 years ago, today you are able to get any amount of dollar you want at anywhere between 305 to 307 from the Central Bank of Nigeria. This has gone a very long way in helping the economy. So if you look at all that, what else are you really looking for? So forget about politics aspect of it. If you look at it in totality of Nigeria, and people are calling for General Muhammad Buhari to contest, now that God has restored his health back, so in fact it is even better for him to contest, in order to continue from where he's actually going.
So let's talk about the political aspect of it. This poll is coming at a time when his party is facing some kind of internal crisis, in which resulted to one of the big notches of the party to dump the party and quit APC. That was Atiku Abubakar. Don't you think this will change the question when the election comes?
When you use the word crisis in APC, it's a very debatable terminology to use, because if you look at it, if any party in Nigeria, and I'm looking at it maybe from the outside, when any political party in Nigeria is said to be in crisis, it is indeed maybe the PDP that is in crisis rather than the APC. The reason why I will tell you that is because we have seen the crisis of leadership at the highest level. We have seen that, yes, there are internal issues, there are challenges, there are people who are dissatisfied, within the APC. But it is also expected. It is indeed expected that, yes, there are certain ways that things were used to be doing in Nigeria. And because of the nature of the president, definitely those kind of things will not go in that manner. We have seen situations where people just come and share money. Unfortunately, it is not happening now. We have seen places where people will just go and get contracts and not execute the contracts. And I will give you a good example from the area that I know very well, the oil and gas sector. We have seen a lot of companies that had gone to actually obtain the license to import on behalf of NNPC petroleum products. And they ended up not importing the petroleum product, and they were paid. Those kind of monies were usually shared and sprayed, and that. We are not seeing that anymore. So when you have that kind of situation, you expect that there will be people who are used to that lifestyle that will be dissatisfied. But that does not translate to crisis within the party. It amounts to people who are dissatisfied. Now, you have mentioned about my boss, my mentor, the person I respected, I still respect, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, leaving the party. This will not be the first time Atiku Abubakar has left a party because of his dissatisfaction. That will not amount to crisis within the party. The first party Alhaji Atiku Abubakar left was actually the PDP itself. When we left, and at that time I actually even joined him in leaving the party in 2006, when I believe he was denied the opportunity because he was technically kicked out of the party, and some of us who sympathized with him felt it was wrong to kick out a sitting vice president out of a political party. So he was going around the country defending himself and showing that he was still a member of the PDP. And his ward chairman from Jada in Adamawa came out to say he is no longer a member of the party, we have sacked him. So in situations like that, he left. And people like us who sympathize with him also left with him. That was crisis. Today, he left. Okay, I mean, he left the APC again, the PDP again. He left APC and went back to PDP. Some of us felt maybe the PDP was in good position, and we also left and went back with him. At a rally that everyone knows, at the Eagle Square during the convention of the PDP, he left again and joined the APC at the time. You know, and it was not a big surprise then, because every area of blockade was blocked for him to contest, because he was willing to contest. So that was the situation, and I remember a statement he made, you know, to some of us, his die-hard followers at the time. He clearly said, well, this is my last bus stop, which means this is the end of it. After this, we are not living again, you know. So, and all of us agreed with that, and we felt it was the right thing to do, you know, so, and he left. You know, so today, because of his leaving, it will not be like the first time he's leaving a party to go to another party. Therefore, it shall not translate to crisis within the APC. That's the way I look at it. You know,
will
so.
it carry any weight in terms of affecting the party?
Anytime you have one person leaving a party, especially the person of the status of Atiku Abubakar, is a loss. Anytime you have anybody leaving a political party, especially somebody who was one-time vice president, who has a lot of influence in this country, who has a lot of resources, who knows people internationally, leaving the party is a loss to the party. But whether that will translate about the party winning an election or not, I don't think so. I think this party has the capacity to still win the election for President Muhammadu Buhari. You know, only thing is that it makes it easier on one hand and makes it difficult on another hand. It makes it easier really for Muhammadu Buhari, because at least there is no Atiku Abubakar to contest against me. So it's fantastic. So people should actually enjoy and rejoice that there is no Atiku Abubakar to contest against me, because he's the only person that has the capacity to contest against Muhammadu Buhari. On the other hand, you know, he's going to a party that had its own crisis, you know, and so he doesn't really even know whether going in there they will allow him to have the ticket, you know, because I saw a joke recently where it says that in order for him to have the ticket, he must go and beg a die-hard hater of his, that is Obasanjo, and then just the following day Obasanjo said, even God will not forgive him if he will say he is putting Atiku on top of Nigerians. So
don't you think there is need for APC to look inwards, look at some of the reasons he raised that caused him to leave the party, so that other people don't follow him?
I agree with you 100%. Every time you have somebody leaving, it's an opportunity actually to review your position. I think when he mentioned some of the things, and I believe that APC, he didn't make the statements just when he was leaving. He had made these statements much earlier. And I think APC had learned from there. For instance, in the last meeting that the president had with the party, he clearly said that there will be additional ministers that will be appointed, and a lot of them will be appointed from the party. He has actually, if you look at it recently, he has actually involved the party in a lot of the activities that he was doing, which in the past he was not doing that. I have seen situations where, in fact, the president traveled out of the country and he was being received. And when he was being received, who were the people receiving him? The first person on the line was Bola Tinubu himself. You know, so I think these are things that you were not seeing at all in the party. So you are beginning to see changes, I think. So I think whatever it is that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had said, you know, he had mentioned some key points that should be looked into, and I'm sure the party is looking into those things.
So finally, sir, let's talk about your state. The current governor is also rounding up his second term, and it's an APC government. What are the chances of the party if he leaves? I think Nasarawa State and all indigents of Nasarawa State will have no other party to vote for except APC. If we want to be serious about ourselves. And that is the reason why some of us are not leaving APC. Because sometimes politics is local. You know, we are not leaving APC because first we have to look at our state of Nasarawa. We have had other governors, and we had an APC government led by Tanko Almakura. The amount of development that this government has done in the few years that had been in power is 10 times more than the development made by the previous governments that were not APC government, 10 times put together. This is the reality on the ground. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't matter whether you are contesting for an office or not. When the truth comes, let it be told. You know, the truth of the matter is that Tanko Almakura, as a governor of APC, has done so much for Nasarawa State.
He has done everything in the areas of development, in the areas of industrialization. When I say industrialization, people only look at what has happened, that Dangote is bringing the biggest sugar refinery in Nasarawa. But people don't look at it that Dangote had been wanting to come to Nasarawa more than 10 years ago. So he only found the atmosphere and the opportunity to come in now when Tanko was there. Before we went into that kind of area, for instance, he provided a road network from away all the way to Tonga to the side. No, investors want structures to be provided, atmosphere to be provided for them. Atmosphere of friendship, of concern, of genuine unity, genuine peace in an area. Those have been created, and this government has done that. Lafia has been turned upside down as a state capital now, rather than a local government headquarters that we have seen it. It is this government that has done that. This government also has come in, instead of just going to continue increasing the number of traditional rulers that are carrying big gown all over the place, has concentrated more on developing the townships where these traditional rulers live. Coming back home to a place like Akwanga, for over 15 years, we couldn't have a traditional ruler. Constantly, there had been questions of crisis about having a chumada of ourselves. Today, we do not only have a chumada, we have a chunga. We have a chumada that is our own traditional ruler of the motherland. We also have a chunga that is of the other area of Mada, which my village, Goody Station, happens to come in. Look at the number of schools that have been developed. Look at the number of hospitals that have been developed. Look at, if you can take off anything, we have seen development in real sense in Nasarawa. Well, whether Tanko is going around as a governor and spreading money to people and employing, it's not happening. Okay, if that is what people are looking for to vote for government, then this is not a government to vote for. But if you are looking for atmosphere where employment will be created, where development is there, where opportunities for people are there, where education is taken care of, where healthcare facilities are being provided, of course, this is a government to vote for. And to me, as Engineer Abdullahi Sule, these are the main reasons why this time around I'm not going with my own father and my own mentor, Atiku Abubakar. I'm remaining in APC, mainly because I have seen development in my state that will benefit my state in APC.
There is insinuation that you may likely be the one to take over from Governor. Is it true?
There are insinuations that I will contest for election. Now, power belongs to God. Forget about insinuations. It doesn't matter how much you love somebody to be. If God says that person will not be, the person will not be. Is it a reason that I should contest? Of course I should contest. Why am I going to contest? Because our zone, if there is fairness, if there is actually equity, our zone should be given the opportunity to produce the governor. And the people that can have the capacity to contest in my zone are not too many. We are very few. A lot of people would love to contest, but God has not given everybody the opportunity to contest. So for the few of us that God has actually given us the opportunity to contest, in fact, if we do not contest for whatever fear, we have created actually a crime against humanity. So because of this reason, I will contest for an office. Whether I will be the one to take over from Tanko Al-Makura or not, depends in the hands of Almighty Allah.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.